Hello there and welcome back to Painting with Martin. Today we're back with another of our painting series from Konflikt 47, which is published by Warlord Games. And thank you very much to Warlord Games for giving me this opportunity to show you how to paint the US Fireflies. Konflikt 47 is set in an alternative universe set after World War II, in which the Axis and Allies were still vying for power. And as I said, today we're taking a look at the US side, and the US has a number of troops. These are the Fireflies, and I was given a sprue from them and I put them together. See my assembly video for tips and tricks of how to assemble your Fireflies as well. Now, this is what they look like when they are primed and ready for painting. When it comes to you always have to prime them, and this one is primed in white. I recommend white or maybe beige or something similar, not too dark, because the colors we're going to use are fairly light. So the first thing we're going to do before we get into the painting stage is that we are going to dry brush some white over the entire miniature to make sure that we cover all the areas in which the primer didn't really reach. So I'm using some Vallejo white here. I'm simply taking some an old brush here, brushing most of it off on a piece of kitchen towel, and then brushing it over the entire miniature. It doesn't really do that much, but in terms of coverage that you don't really reach, like say underneath here, it can be really hard to reach with the primer. And now we're ensuring that all those areas are primed and kind of like has some paint on it. So when we attach the rest of the paint and put the rest of the paint on, it actually sticks really well to this piece of plastic. Also really a good like underneath here as well. Underneath this stone, as well as the boots, can also be quite hard to reach. But leaving this one aside at the moment, I'm going to show you right now which paints we're going to use. So I'm using a painting handle here from US Games, but if you only use just a regular one or glue it to the base, then I recommend you do so and glue it to the base right now. Now, the paints we are going to use in no particular order is from Vallejo. This one is German Camo Beige, followed by German Grey. We also have some white here from Vallejo. We also have some US Field Drab from Vallejo as well. And then we have the ones from Citadel. I might have forgotten one or two here, thing here as well. But we have Doombull Brown from Citadel, Loren Forest, and then I have chosen to use a contrast paint called Fireslayer Flesh, as well as Iyanden Yellow. Now, for the kind of like jetpack details, we are going to use a special effects color from Warpaint's Fanatic, which is an armor painter color range called Plasma Coil Glow. And we're going to leave this one for the last because we're also going to shade the miniature using some Agrax Earthshade. Now, if you're using non-contrast paints, I can recommend using just any regular small yellow, like Evelyn Sunset would be good for the yellow. And also for the skin color, Kislev Flesh would be perfectly fine. But enough with that, let's get going. So I'm going to, these are a variety of different poses can be used here. Now, this one here is already done and ready, but I think this one is going to be quite nice as well. So you choose. Let's see here if I can attach this one to the painting handle, making sure that it sticks and nicely done and everything. Now, and the reason I'm not choosing this one is that it can be quite hard to get underneath here as well with the brush. Here it's quite nice, but also this one might be a little bit unstable, so this one might fall off and so on. We're going to start with the uniform, and that means we're going to go for some German Camo Beige across the entire miniature, except for the webbing and some of the pouches here, not the shoes, and also not the jetpack, gun parts, and the helmet, of course. So German Camo Beige here. I forgot my paint pot, so I'll be back in 2 seconds. There we go. Paint pot is very, very, very needed. So very sorry about that. Happens. I'm going to use my paint pot here, and I'm going to use it to dilute the paint slightly to make sure that all those nice details are not going to be like smoothed up. And in this case, we're starting with everything. Here there are some knee pouches here for protection. I'll see if you can see that here. Knee pouches over here. These ones are also going to be in green color, so we're going to avoid these ones as much as possible. And the reason why I'm diluting the paint, I'm not worried about the webbing here, I'm going to paint that over later on, is that it's a lot easier to handle the paint, and it doesn't smother the miniature too much when we're painting it. So moving over the entire miniature like this, avoiding the knee protections. Like the lower body here, hopefully it stays on the paint. Handle here, which is really, really good. I really recommend using one of these. And I have a review for this one, how you can get yours as well. And there will be, you can find that on my channel. And by the way, thank you all of those who have subscribed to my channel so far. I really appreciate every subscriber, and I'll try to answer everyone who has a question, no matter what it is. If it's praise or if it's no praise, I always respond to each and every one of you as soon as I see it. Moving on over here, we have the upper part, the arms. There is a little bit of like insignia patch here that I'm really avoiding here to use to paint, and the reason for that is I want to color it separately afterwards. Moving up over here, and we can fix any mistakes we make later on as well. Almost done, quite nice and easy, looking quite okay already, looking like this. Let me see if I can turn on another light to brighten up this room. It goes like this and like that. Hopefully that will be better viewing light for you guys who are watching this. And now when this one is done, you will be able to see that most of the miniatures painted in this color, and we're going to darken it afterwards with some Agrax Earthshade. Now clean the painting brush, move to the next stage. Next stage will be the boots, and for this one I'm using a Citadel color, a kind of a leathery brown called Doombull brown. I'm using this one neat. And you can dilute it as well if you want to. And I'm trying to stay as close to the card art here as possible, or the art in the game from the booklets. I don't have the booklet, I don't have a starting set. I was given a sprue by Warlord Games at Essen Spiel last year. So again, thank you very much for that, to Christian in particular, and for giving me the opportunity to paint these ones. These have been long in the making, but I have delayed these ones because I'm not very good at putting together miniatures. So, but it was surprisingly easier to actually than I thought, even though I struggled with the US ones quite a bit, as you can see in this instruction video for how to put these together. So after this one is done, we'll move very quickly to the green part of the miniature, which is going to be the jetpack, as well as the part of the some details inside here as well up here. So for this one I'm using Loren Forest from Citadel, giving a good shake off hand a little bit. If you don't have a Loren Forest, you can use something like German Camo bright green, that would be acceptable, or possibly even olive green from Vallejo as well. A variety of Army Painters range are also available, but since I don't really have them, I can't really recommend anything in particular from this range. So we're going over and cover the knee packs here first, that I really avoided using when I painted the overall uniform. And then it's time for the shoulder straps here. these ones here. And if you have them a little bit in the middle here, I'll show you, just for you to show on this one here, I would use this one here in the middle here for another miniature. It's important is that this one here in the middle, kind of like a belt and webbing, it's also green, and this one here, I'm painting this one particularly here just to show you what it looks like in another miniature, because it's obstructed by the Thompson submachine gun variant afterwards. So this one would be that one as well. So of course, when the paint runs out on your brush, you add a little bit more. Now here you have a little bit of webbing here, and on top here as well. And don't forget the other side. As well as underneath here as well, also this part. And if you can and want to, you can put this one up here as well. A little bit of green here. Try to get your brush underneath here. Now, it's time for the jetpack. Jetpack has a top and a bottom. Let's start with the wings. Both top and bottom side, as well as side of the wings. Now, for the other wing as well, hopefully you can see it. I'll see if I can angle the miniature here for you so you can see what it's like. Top, then bottom. I'm using a size 2 brush here, a Princeton Select one, but a Winsor & Newton Cotman series, which I normally use, would be perfectly fine. All my brushes are synthetic because I don't like harming the animals. Now for the rest of the jetpack, you do the sides here almost all the way, not the top, but the bottom one can be done here. And use the flat of the brush to use on the side here as well. Side of the jetpack. And now for the top of the jetpack, use only for this part here that I'm using for the brush now. All the way down. And leaving it white, except for this part here. The top white here part will actually be in a plasma coil blue. As such. Now, since you already have some brush paint on Loren Forest brush on Loren Forest paint on this brush, you can also do this part here in green in the back here, kind of a little pouch, and correct any mistakes as you see fit about the jetpack too. Now, also the helmet will be in this color. You can alternatively use brown violet for the helmet if you want a more historic look from World War II. That would be the one as well. It's brown violet, can also be used as olive drab. That's the one, the modern one. Keep in mind there's a little bit of helmet underneath here as well. That is optional, but it adds a little nice details. Now, looking quite okay already. Now we're going to go for the hands. The face. And for the hands, it's a different color. But for the face, I'm using some contrast Fireslayer flesh. But as I said before, you can use Kistler flesh and then shade it with some Reichland flesh if you want to. If you want a darker one, you can opt for something like Mornfing Brown, would be also acceptable. the back of the side as well. Like this. Now, for the hands, I'm going to use a contrast color as well, because in the picture we have Iyanden yellow. They're kind of like yellow gloves that we're using on them, and that kind of provides a nice kind of like contrast between the rest of the colors here. So Iyanden yellow for the gloves. As such. Now we only got kind of like this, the plasma part and the gun left, so we're going to go straight away for the gun. And for the gun, I'm prepping the gun for the metallic colors first by painting them with some German grey and giving a good shake off camera, and then squeezing it out in my palette. And I'm using this one neat. Sometimes it gets stuck, and that means you have a nice toothbrush here. It's a nice trick. This one got stuck, so you simply put it in and use it kind of like a ramrod. If I can squeeze it in like this, like a ramrod in the old like guns. And after this one, the paint squeezes out really perfectly and easily. It's a really good trick to have. So for the gun, I really want to take grey hair here, not to cover the handle here, which is not really a handle, but it's part of the plasma. So you will paint around this one as much as you can. Magazine will be in this color as well, and the upper part here as well. Other side, top of the gun, barrel, painting around the plasma coil. And if you can reach underneath, that will be fine as well. Now, before we go into the plasma details, it's time to clean up the miniature. And we do so by simply painting over anything that is white we left over from before. And this one is time for some German camo, camo beige. As such here. Some part of the details here. And top here as well. It's a good way to do that before you apply a wash afterwards. Making sure there are no wide parts shining through. Now, for the belt and the webbing, we are going to use something called, where is the color? US Field Drab. US Field Drab, let's see if I can have it somewhere. Well, I had it. Oh yeah, there you go. US Field Drab over here. I'm using it neat, and I'm using it for all the webbing parts, and I'll show you where the webbing part as well here. So we have the belt. That's one part, which is very easy to see. We're using this one for any pouches of ammunition that you may or you may not have included on your miniature when you glued it together. Any straps here as well, which there will be a strap here on the back and another one on the back like this. And let's see here, someone here that I corrected. There will be another strap here between over here, holding the knee pads up there. And don't forget the straps going all the way around here. and if you make a mistake, no problem. Now, when this one is done, we're going to leave this one to dry for a moment, and I've already painted something similar. This one is using a bar gunner, but I also want to show you that sometimes you have gas masks, and gas mask means that I covered the entire green part here in this color and Loren forest, as well as a little bit of a patch of using something called Snakebite leather from contrast color. I also use Snakebite leather for the wood stock here as well, and here I already painted the gun barrel using some lead belcher over here as well, some previously. So with this one, is what it looks like fairly, so it looks quite alright, but I saw that we already made a mistake here, and we are going to add some contrast dark Fireslayer flesh on the back of his helmet. So we'll do this first before we apply any other paint. So it's done. Like here at the back here. Now we need to darken this one using some shade, and you may ask, why don't I use the blue parts of the plasma core first? Well, there's a reason for that, and I'll show you that. But Agrax Earthshade first, over the entire miniature, except for the blue part, there's things that are going to be blue, but shading the whole miniature here adds some very nice details in part of the fabric. You can dilute it if you want to, but here I'm using it as it is, neat. Over the boots, webbing, even the green part of the uniform, such as the knee pads. Webbing, but not the gloves. I'm also not using it for the gun part here as well. There's no point. Avoiding the shoulder patch here as well, which we're going to do later on, one of the last steps. But covering the jetpack here and kind of like a darker one is a good idea. It also gives us the opportunity to cover any part of the white that we failed to do so previously. The goggles here is something part of this miniature that I didn't paint, and those are going to be covered by that plasmatic glow. Now, putting this one aside here for a moment, I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like when we have a miniature that is already kind of like this, almost the same. Oh, oops, it fell off here. Let's see if I can put this on. Maybe I need some more putty. Hopefully it will be good for this video at least. So let's see here. Then we can attach it like this. So this is what it looks like, almost identical to this one except for the helmet here. Here I used the gas mask and I used some Doombull brown on top of it as well. But otherwise it's an identical pose for the miniature here. He used some webbing here and pouches. He has a map pack here instead, instead of his ammunition box pouches here. But otherwise it's an identical model. Now we are going to go through this one and do some highlights. But first we are going to apply some plasma coil glow, and you give it a good shake, really good shake, making sure all those pigments are mixing. And this is quite a fluid color. I really like it, and it's quite blue. That's very blue actually. And I'm using this one with a kind of larger brush here. I'm using a size 3 brush here for this one. So here we're using some of it. I'm letting quite a lot of paint soak up in the brush. And here I'm going to apply it over the blue part here. Something to note here is something that I always cover anything that is white with a little bit of extra white on top of it first, making sure that everything is pure white. So here I'm using it, letting it really soak in between here, and you can see it's a beautiful color. And the white is really shining through here. and 1 or 2 layers might be needed here for the top one. And for the gun part here as well, and this one, and the back side here as well. So once it's dried, I recommend applying a second layer until you get the coverage that is needed. This one I'm just going to show you here what it looks like this and like this. Hopefully I didn't go off camera before. Like this, and a little bit more on the gun here as well, looking like this. Now you can do the same thing here for the goggles. If you don't have access to this color, you can also use Athletic blue from Citadel, which is a contrast color as well. Looking like this, looking quite beautiful already. If you want kind of like the dark, rugged look, you can leave it as it is almost. The only thing that's needed here is the shoulder patch, which I'm notoriously bad at when it comes to filming details, and also the grey stone he's looking at. But I'm going to make an attempt at least highlighting some of the parts up, and we're going to do that by looking at the original German Camo Beige here. So here we're going to touch up some of the details here, and just moving over some of the details that are like pouches here might be nice to add, where the crevices are showing. And you want it a little bit lighter look, so to say. This is of course an entirely optional step. And here I'm also going through. Now I'm switching color from the Loren forest to some olive green from Vallejo, adding some highlights with this one because it's a little bit lighter. And I'm doing this one on the side here as well, using it as a kind of like as an edge highlight. And the top here as well, where the sun is shining. Or can you also use that for part of the gas mask and some of the webbing here in the front here as well, making sure you get a nice even coverage like this. Now boots I'm leaving as they are. Here I used Snakebite leather on the pouch instead of the US Drab. That's perfectly fine as well. Now when it comes to the shoulder pad here, the shoulder pad here is increasingly difficult to paint, but you're going to need the following paints. I'm going to take a look at the card art here. Here it's red, white and blue. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to use a very nice color here. Let's see if I can reach this one in my paint rack here, and I'm going to use something called Caledor Sky, but Cantor Blue would also be acceptable. And you need a quite sharp brush for this one that doesn't have anything in all directions. And I'm going to use a very small brush, but you can use a much larger brush as well. This one is a type 0 Da Vinci Micronova brush, and I'm going to see if I can get this right. I'm not really confident of this. Here, that means we have to go for and then a blue line here, like this. That will be alright. Keep in mind, around the shield here is going to be the same Loren forest as well. Now we need some red, and I'm going to use a color called Resplendent Red from War Paints Fanatic, which is an armor painter series. The good thing with armor painter is to have a little bit of metal ball bearing in them that makes shaking the color much easier. So here we have the first attempt here is that we have the lower red here. And the upper red here. Not too shabby. I'm quite happy with that result, given that I'm notoriously bad at these things. Now, for the final detail, there's supposed to be a little star here. I'm not even going to try making this one into a star. Those of you who are much better at this than I am, please make sure that there is a star in the blue part here. I'm just going to make it into a white dot because just making it into a star is just ridiculous, that kind of level. I don't have that patience, nor do I have the skill for that. So here I'm just going to make this one and make it into a dot here. Like this. Didn't even go very well for a dot. Like this. Now, this is the end of the painting series for this one. Now, if I get a new box from Konflikt 47, of course I might paint it. But otherwise, this marks the end of the video for Konflikt 47 US Fireflies. If you like these kind of videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll paint some more videos from either this one or something else. I'm not really sure what I have, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek in my shorts video coming up what is going to be on the channel next. And also have Essen Spiel coming up as well. But I'm going on vacation right now, so that means I'll be gone for about a few weeks, but I'll be trying to paint some more. By the way, oh, keep in mind, I almost forgot. We also have the what do you call it? This stone here. Now, for the stone here, I'm going to use some Mechanicus Standard Grey. And you can add some null to this one if you want to darken it, and add some highlights as well. Otherwise, there you go. Thank you. If anyone would have seen this one, they most likely would have pointed it out. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and have a fantastic summer wherever you are.